Hey guys, this video is going to be something that I kind of wanted to talk about. It's for artists and writers who are losing their jobs because of social media, and I want to talk about it. I'm going to try to navigate this mature topic as much as I can. I hope you guys are ready for it because it's going to be about the assassination of Charlie Kirk. Who is he? He's a political influencer, but he's on the right, and at a college campus a few days ago, he was taken out in cold blood. The video is traveling around Twitter, so be careful if you're going to go look up the info on there. I've seen the video from multiple angles. It's very, very graphic, okay? Now, if you don't know much about Charlie Kirk, the problem with him is that he has had a lot of things on the internet and a lot of things on campuses where he'll have people come at him and he wants to have the discourse. He has his own podcast. He says a lot of terrible things on there, and I'm sure that some people who are already in my audience might have heard about this or know about this, but, I feel like I don't want to post the things that he's said, but I feel like you guys just need an example maybe, so I'm going to use this example from a discussion that was clipped by Jubilee over on Instagram.
They were actually better in the 1940s. It was bad, it was evil, but what happened? Something changed. They committed less crimes.
Maybe they were afraid. 4,000 black men, women, and children were killed in violent lynch mobs.
That's your explanation, but
racial terror permeated American culture for hundreds of years.
Black America is worse than it has been.
That
in the
affected
last 80 years.
The generational psyche of an entire group of people?
Well, I'm sure it did. I'm not discounting that.
So as you can see, Charlie Kirk has said a lot of things that has led some people to having a lot of passionate feelings on social media. But the problem is that with social media comes a lot of issues, and I want to talk about what happened to some people, okay? And then I'm going to go over how to navigate when you feel like you want to say something, okay? In the world of civility, we talk about things we don't agree with and convince people through understanding and letting others be heard. We never stop talking, and when you stop talking, that's when the problem gets bigger. In my opinion, I feel that Charlie Kirk was not a good person. He had bad opinions, but he still engaged with discourse with people who disagreed with him. I dislike everything about him, but he is a father, he is a husband, he had parents who loved him, and unfortunately, I feel that when you make your life divisive and public, there comes insane people, as it was a young Republican that took his life. It's similar to when people blatantly celebrated the CEO shooting. Granted, I have my opinions on that, but they're private. But in general, probably shouldn't celebrate people dying. Okay, it's just a bad look. It just is not good. So let's talk about the three situations, or I forget if it's 3 or 4. So there was a new Red Hood comic series that was going to come out. The writer, Gretchen Felker Martin, made comments about Charlie's death. Now, as I say this, I fully believe that you could say whatever you want on social media, but that doesn't mean that you are free from the consequences. I believe she took her rights and she has the right to express them however she saw fit. But backlash is a problem. And if there is a mob that's coming after you, the mob will win. Once her bottom line and her company's bottom line are not the same, which is DC Comics, they will have to choose to keep their customers happy or choose to keep their writer. I've said it before and I'll say it again. Corpos do not give a shit about individuals. They will get rid of you the moment they find out that you're too hot to handle. And as I say this, I actually went to go look up, what did she say, right? But when I went to go look her up, Twitter had suspended her for what she'd said. Now, I also believe that shouldn't be a thing, but the thing is Blue Sky and Twitter and social medias, they are private companies that are they're not public, but they're public because so many people use them, and in that fact, and celebrating death will bring celebrating death in general is probably against TOS. I'm not going to go look up TOS, but it probably is. That's celebrating violence. And even Discord has a celebrating violence thing. So, in general, most companies don't want you to be celebrating violence. I feel that anyone should be able to say anything, but I know that there's TOS, so it's kind of like a back and forth. Do I say the thing I want to say, Or do I say the thing I want to say and possibly get banned? Or say the thing I want to say and might not get banned? You don't really know the answer until you post it. So let's look at the screen cap right here. I'm not gonna say these words, but thoughts and prayers, you bitch, and then hope the bullet's okay after touching Charlie Kirk. I get it. Like, I get it. And I feel that personally, I feel that there's worse things that I've seen said on Twitter and on Blue Sky, and her being banned is fucking bullshit, because I feel that there's worse things said. But at the same time, it is doing exactly what is probably against her toss. And I don't know how many followers she had. She's clearly very famous, because over here, this is the article, and I'm going to read it for you guys. Not going to lie, I was like a little bit interested in this. I don't really like DC like that, but I was a little bit interested in this because this is going to sound dumb, but one of the artists that I like actually likes to draw Batman shit, and I like their work. But anyway, DC Comics canceled the just-released Red Hood comic book series after author Gretchen Felker Martin made comments about Charlie Kirk's death on social media. Kirk, a conservative activist and campaigner for President Donald Trump, was shot and killed Wednesday at a speaking event in the University of Utah. In the since-deleted post captured in screen grabs shared by other social media users, Felker Martin allegedly wrote on social media, hope the bullet's okay, and Felker Martin, who identifies as transgender, also referred to Kirk. Why is that important? Oh, I see. Oopsie doodles. It says Kirk was outspoken in his oppression to trans rights, which is true. In a statement with CNN on Thursday, a spokesman for the company says at DC Comics, "We place the highest value on our creators and community and affirm the right to peaceful, individual expression of personal viewpoints. Posts or public comments that can be viewed as promoting hostility or violence are inconsistent with DC standards of conduct." CNN reached out to representatives for Felker Martin and Red Hood artist Jeff Spokes for comment. CNN, like DC Comics, is owned by the Warner Brothers Discovery. Red Hood, it doesn't even say whether... Okay. Future issues of Red Hood were set to be released through June, with the second volume slated to run through December 2026. Its prominent outpouring condemnation of both sides of the aisle and prop fears of continued violent threats to political figures. So, she had every right to feel her feelings and post her feelings. I feel that when you decide to post your feelings on the internet so hotly, even if it's important to you, there is a chance something bad could happen to you. Like I just saw on another post where on Blue Sky, where people were linking to her Patreon and hoping people would report that. I'm not going to show it because I don't want to give it any more attention, but it is there when I was looking for stuff about this. I hope that she gets unbanned. I feel she was unjustly unbanned. I feel bad for her. But like I said, corpos don't care, and all it would take is probably let's say 1,000 individuals who don't even read comics make a post or are harassing DC through their customer support or whatever and being like, this person said this, you need to get rid of them. Of course they're going to get rid of them. Of course. That's what's going to happen. I don't think that you should be fired for saying things or doing things that you do in your private time. But here we are in the same line. I've seen people who are on TikTok saying racist things out in the open, but off work, and they get fired for I saw this woman get fired for saying the N-word in public at a black person, and then they found out where she worked and they got her fired. At the same time that happens. So it's kind of like 24-hour surveillance. It kind of sucks, but that's what it is now. It's 24-hour surveillance. Now that everyone's got a stupid-ass phone in their hand, they can record you at any time. So what do? Do you act up, or do you be a person who is just going to go about your day and never be recorded? I'm sure there's people who have maybe recorded me, but I don't think I've ever said anything to anybody that was inherently nasty on purpose, unless it was already provoked. But what do I know? And if you have strong convictions and strong feelings, I'm not telling you to stop yourself. I'm telling you in the most neutral way possible that being a problem for your job will make it so that you get released. And it will make it and it will be more difficult for you to find another job, because once someone has you on their radar, they will not let it go. They won't let it go. I had people who doxed me, and they still come around and fuck around. They won't let it go. They still want to keep tabs on you, see what you're doing. Oh, you know what? You said this 6 years ago. I'm going to go and I'm going to message your boss if you post where you work now on LinkedIn. So it's like, now you have to be a semi-public, semi-private individual because people want to be all up in your fucking business, especially after the fact. So let's talk about Stephen King, okay? Stephen King has gotten into some hot water for the same situation. He said, so I'm going to show you guys what he said. So he advocated stoning gays to death, just saying. And that was in response to someone named Jesse Walters. And then there's also a link here proving he didn't say exactly that thing. So in reply, he did this. And it says, I apologize for saying that Charlie Kirk advocated stoning gays. What he actually demonstrated was how some people cherry-picked biblical passages. And in response to that, he goes, I was wrong. I deleted the post. But the thing is that when he did that, people weren't going to let it go because it's Stephen King, right? They're going to obviously have some shit that they want to say. Like, it's like they can't accept that. See, the thing is I feel that because this is the Twitter machine, that a lot of this is going to be performative, right? This is performative. This is for Twitter reply guys. And I don't know if you guys know what Twitter reply guys are, but it's for people who will say something really silly or really weird or really divisive or really confrontational on a post, on someone's post, so it looks good on their Twitter replies, right? Now, it's like, here's an example. Someone posts, Steven, you weren't wrong. You did not need to apologize. They can dish it and they can't take it. Wish you would write a book about all of his rhetoric, right? Now, there's replies under that, obviously, because that's meant to be divisive. And then here's this person, too. This person's obviously one of these. We don't want an apology. What did you want, then? What did you want? We want you to fix the place inside you where this came from. We need you to stop hating people that you don't know. This happens every day, my guy. Every day there is someone we hate that we don't personally know. I'm sure there's people that are in your life that you don't personally know. Like, even coworkers. There's some person who comes into your job and talks to you and is annoying as fuck and you want nothing to do with them. You barely know their name because he's never introduced themselves to you. This is just fictional, by the way, but it happens. And you don't want to talk to that motherfucker because he creeps you out. And you hate him because he creeps you out because he wants to talk to you and he's annoying. Okay? Saying that you can't hate a person because you don't know him, like, you can. We need you to heal the hate within you. And then you don't say things you feel the need to apologize for. Like, in my opinion, you're lucky you got an apology from Stephen King. His ass is 77 years old. He is on his way out. You think he gives a fuck? You think he gives a fuck? He gives a fuck because of money, and that's probably it, and his movie's coming out. Everybody is hoping for a little bit of clout off of Stephen King and saying what they want to say, and all of these people are conservatives. There are some others on here too. But in reality, like, this person is probably right. Thank you for apologizing and doing what's right ultimately. But let's be real. You don't mean it, and we know you don't. He probably don't. Because he's 77 years old. You think a 77-year-old is going to give a fuck? No way he gives a shit. No way. His responses to me say he doesn't give a shit. He's doing what he needs to do. And he retweeted Ted Cruz's little thing here. Did he do a little... Okay. Deleted false tweet about Charlie Kirk and apologized. All of us on both sides of the aisle should treat each other with respect and decency, even if we disagree on politics. And he called himself the horrible, evil, twisted liar apologizes. This is what I get for reading something on Twitter without fact-checking. Won't happen again. And I don't think it will. You should see the stuff he says to his son on Twitter. Because, see, the thing is people don't want you to just apologize and say, you know what, I fucked up, I'm sorry. I didn't mean that, I was wrong. Like, the thing is people don't realize that you're still a person behind the box, right? You're a person behind the box. And once you've done something deplorable, and the only thing you can do is apologize and go away. They want you to go away, and then when you come back, they're going to harass you some more, and you'll just have to deal with the harassment. Eventually, people will stop thinking about it. That's usually what happens. But he's Stephen King, so people are going to be like, oh my god, Stephen King's a terrible person for the rest of his life, or whatever. I don't know. Like, this is what I mean by, like, not letting it go. Like, I appreciate you publicly acknowledging your mistake and where it came from. I won't pile on, but he does. If you were so sure of this and your convictions came from reading someone else's post, could there be other things you hold similarly strong convictions of that you're also wrong? There's people here, there's a lot of people who agree with this. I mean, it's a good comment, but it is also doing exactly what he said he wasn't going to do. I'm not going to bother you, but also that's what it is. So lastly, I want to go over Drew Harrison. Drew Harrison is on the dev team for Ghost of Yotei. It's a video game which is currently getting a bad rap for being considered woke because the main character is a woman. Can I just listen? I understand where that comes from, but if they make one good game, they're probably going to make another good game. You really can shut the fuck up. Just because a game has a main female character does not mean it's going to automatically be bad. Just look at Ghost of Tsushima. That was a really good game. Stop trolling. Stop being weird. If a woman main character bothers you this much, like, fuck off. So, alright. Let's look at the comment that Drew made about the shooting. So the post started over on Twitter, I think. Yes. By this annoying motherfucker. This annoying motherfucker right here. He goes, Sucker Punch Senior Dev celebrates Charlie Kirk's death. Ghost of Yotei is dead to me now. And it goes, his recognition is not enough for me. I hope this tanks the studio. Why would you hope for that? You see this? You see what I mean? Like, on social media, it's not enough if you resign from your position, get fired from your job. People will wish the worst on you. And even though you said something that was terrible, they will go so far and think that they need to go that far. If you really were about the hold accountability and then, commit the rest with grace and understanding, right after the act has been committed, they quickly go to, you're the worst person on the planet. And they want more. They're hoping that an entire dev team, an entire studio goes under because one person says, I hope the shooter's name is Mario so that Luigi knows his bro got his back. I don't even know what the fuck that means. Literally no idea. Like, I feel like, is that like about Luigi Morgiani or whatever his name is? Is that about that? Because, like, I don't know. I don't get the joke. And I just don't get the joke. Okay, I don't get it. I don't think that all of this is worth the drama. And I hope that Blue Sky, and that's the thing too. Over there, this person right here, I can't even see it. Let me put it says, there's also seemingly a number of game devs liking the post. Absolutely vile. Yeah, because it says 18 likes. And then it shows who has liked it. And it's like someone at Bungie, a gamer, other people, game designer, producer of MGT, Arena, previous at Sucker Punch Productions. Like, you even have to think about what you like on Twitter. On Blue Sky. You used to have to do that on Twitter, but they took it away, so, like, you can't see who liked the post. You just know that there are likes. So there's more posts here, and it says, I've been told that Twitter has noticed me from across the room. Some of y'all have never heard of a critically acclaimed Mario Brothers franchise by Nintendo, and it shows. Maybe instead of emailing people's employers, y'all should be emailing your reps and demand gun control immediately. I mean, has a point. So Drew changed her name to Drew Punching Nazis Until I Die. And friendship defeats fascism. I do want to see, I wanted to talk about more a little bit. So while she was asleep, she got all of these calls from a random person. What the fuck? This is what I mean. They don't want accountability. They want someone to hate and put their hate on. So it doesn't even, like, okay, in my opinion, when you say hot stuff like this, I feel that it doesn't come across in the way that even helps you. Like, I have been harassed like this, where I've gotten a crazy amount of phone calls. Like, I've received 62 phone calls in an hour before. And right here, this actually, I had some feelings for her. If standing up against fascism is what cost me my dream job I held for 10 years, I would do it again 100 times stronger. This is kind of what I mean by saying, if your conviction is strong enough and you don't give a fuck, then say whatever you want. So I did want to talk about someone's comment, okay? It says here, see, if Miss Punching Nazi Till I Die had a brain, she would have celebrated the death of Hitler in silence. Instead, she couldn't fight the urge to make unfunny jokes on this website, costing her dream job. Frown face. So we're going to talk about those extreme examples, okay? Hitler and Stalin and all those people who did terrible things to thousands and millions of people. There's a reason why people celebrated them, because it was getting rid of someone who was incredibly terrible. Now, the thing is your personality being terrible is different than your actions being terrible. You know what I mean? Like, he said a lot of terrible shit, but at the end of the day, it's just words. And I know that words hurt. They do hurt, and they color you, and they paint you. But at the same time, you can't use extreme examples like Hitler or Stalin and use those as a way to back up celebrating violence. All right? Not on social media, you can't. Can't do it on social media. Well, you can, but, this is what happens. I feel so bad that this caused her so much backlash that she felt like she had to leave. She chose to, I don't know if she chose, but maybe she chose. Maybe she knew what would happen. It was unfortunate that she's no longer on the dev team. I wish her all the best and hopes that she can find another job, because being put out of a job because of something you said on fucking social media is insane. It's insane. But that's how we are now. We're a place where we're gonna fucking call your job. We're gonna find out where you live. We're gonna find out everything about your family. We're gonna call all the people in the world to hurt you. We're gonna make it so you can never make another penny ever again. Like, that's the part. That's right there. It's not just being like, hey, you needed to fucking delete this, bro. You fucked up. And like maybe getting a ban on the site for like 7 days or some shit. When someone decides to harass you, they're going to keep on harassing you even if you're not on the platform anymore. Once they find more personal information, they'll send shit to your house. They'll send unpaid pizzas to you. They'll call and harass you 65 times a day. Like, all because you said some shit online. Like, okay. Because it's all just like said some shit. It's just said some shit. Overall, with this, I think that these were important to talk about because as artists and writers, we are typically in a situation where we are with a client or we are with a company. And I feel like there is a third option not being discussed here. I've tried to find the thin line between being honest and being radical. As someone who isn't political, I give my stances pretty often, and I've had plenty of jobs and I've never been fired from them for saying the wrong thing. I have a little bit of self-censorship. Sometimes I've been wrong. As an example, I am pretty catty when I am comfortable at work. And there's this one time where I thought I was being funny. I could feel that maybe I might have crossed the line. So what I said was, now I said this to my boss. I know that there was no difference between my job and her job. The only difference was that she had to be on the computer more, right? Now, our assistant manager, he was a pretty funny guy, and he already knew that it was going to be in jest. So I said, she goes, oh, well, I do so much more than you. And I was like, really? I said, oh, really? I think I know what you guys do more than me. So what I did is I walked over to the PC that we all share because it's a shared computer at the job I was at. I went and I just opened up the email tab and I fake typed in the email tab. And I was like, did I do it right? And she fake laughed at me, but the assistant manager really, really laughed at me. And then the next 2 weeks, she cut my hours. So I knew she was mad because she cut my hours. So it's like, it's playing with fire. It's playing with fire. And I didn't get fired for that because it was just a little joke. I did get in trouble. I didn't get written up. I was just goofing around. Everybody knows I was goofing around, but it still made her mad. So she still lashed out at me. She was just mad because I was right. And FYI, I was right because I became the manager for like roughly a year by myself. And it was literally like, do emails. That's it. Anyway, I want to help you guys know how to deal with social media. If you really got some passions and you're having some feelings. And you know what? I just want to point out that some people say that I talk a certain way. And I just want to point out that I am not being facetious when I'm saying people talk with their feelings, because people do talk with their feelings. And if you're having feelings about something and you need to get it out, then obviously I would like people to be able to do that, but without hurting their job opportunities. Because you have to think, when you're typing things on social media, people can probably get your phone number and get to your family members and hurt your family members too. Social media be like North Korea. The sins of the grandfather are the sins of the son, or some shit. You gotta punish everyone. Everyone has to be punished for something you said online. That's how I see it. The moment social media came in, I was thinking, oh man, like, I don't even know how I knew. I think it's because I have a weird name, and I knew that if people were able to find me using my real name on the internet, if someone knew it and someone could type it and it could be found, they could probably stalk me. And that was how I got doxxed. Someone figured out my real name, my whole name, because it's one of a kind. So let's go. How do you navigate the North Korea's social media issues? All right. So one of my biggest rules for posting is, if it's hot, sit on it. Don't post until you've had some food, had some water, had some sleep, anything. If you want to talk about something, talk about other people's behavior. Talk about your feelings without making broad statements. As an example, a lot of anti-AI and pro-AI people on Twitter are very crazy. I'm not saying all of them, because I'm one of them. But I know all of you have seen some posts and be like, what are you talking about? Are you a crazy person? Because these people are posting their emotions and their feelings right from the hip, saying some nasty things on Twitter when they probably should have backed away a long time ago. Some of your hottest feelings should be told to people who love you and love. A lot of your hottest feelings should be told to people you love and who love you back. Not where it can be screenshotted and used against you in 3 years or on the same day, ever. If you have some hot feelings and you want to get it out, call your best friend. Call someone, call somebody. Definitely. Call somebody. Number 2, treat all posts like it's going to be in the newspaper, regardless of what it is. Plenty of my posts are shit posts. Some are about my feelings, some are vaguely political, or I'm doing some typical reply guy shit. People who want to hire you will look you up, and, if they look me up, they'll see that I'm like a complete idiot on Twitter, and I'm hard to read, and I do it on purpose. Sometimes I type stream of consciousness, stupid shit without context on Twitter, because, I'll be somewhere and I'll think something's fucking hilarious, and then I'll just post it on Twitter without any context, so that when I read it, I go, that was pretty funny. Because my social media is for me, but I know that the public can read it. So image is important, even if people think I'm an idiot on Twitter. I don't really care. I think if I had to choose what platform I care about what people think about me, probably YouTube. Probably YouTube, because I have my voice on here. And I would hope people in my audience and people who are new and people who probably don't like my take will probably not think I'm an idiot, but we'll see in the comments, because you know how people be up in my comments sometimes. All right, so I'm going to point this out. In almost every toss on every social media, celebrating violence is shit. It will get you banned. You will get in trouble. It's just that way. But fuck, I know sometimes it feels good to acknowledge it. I know it does. As an example, I'm using Charlie Kirk as an example, said the person who assaulted and nearly killed Nancy Pelosi's husband should be bailed. He's doing what other people are being condemned for. And you know why he's not getting any heat when he was alive? Because he's self-employed. When you're self-employed, you can say whatever the fuck you want. No one can come after you. What are they going to do? I'm not going to buy from you? Okay, fuck off. I'm not going to support you socially? Okay, fuck off. It's almost the same thing with the Stephen King thing. Stephen King is so big. It's going to be hard for him to lose. And I know there might be, if there's something I don't know about Stephen King that he's done that's a sketch or whatever, you can put it in the comments. But as of right now, I don't know about any of them. And I'm just assuming, if he's done other bad shit, it must not be that bad, because no one's bringing it up. They're like, oh my god, Stephen King's a dick because he said anything. Okay. He's a terrible person. But I don't need to personally post something that would affect my money. This dude was a shitty guy. Why would you ever give your job up for him? I know Gretchen did it. Not Gretchen, but Gretchen and Drew did it in passion. They did it in passion because of how they feel about the trans right issues. the trans rights issues. And that's just how I see it. I would never want for both of them to lose their job. And I know they only lost their job because hate mob. And at the same time, they did some shit that was against TOS. So it's like, what are we going to do? It's a rocky road. What are you going to do? Are you going to do it or you're not going to do it? Because these people want to see you fail. People who don't like you want to see you fail, want to see you fall, and want to harass you for the rest of your life so that you can never get back up and stand on your own 2 feet. If you, like, 100% of the people who are giving these women shit, they want to make sure that that they can never have a job ever again, and that even people connected to them are out of a job. Like, why would you want a whole dev studio? Like, why would you cancel a whole comic book? Other people, Gretchen was the writer. She wasn't the fucking artist. Why would you take that job away from a willing artist? Like, why didn't you still run the comic? Run the comic and they could have just let her go. They could have just, the thing is they didn't need to get rid of her work. But I bet they're like, it's tainted. It's tainted. All right. And for the last one, assume everyone always can make a screenshot of you. These screenshots will outlive you. If it's in DMs, posted anywhere, it's screenshotted. All online text can be recorded, saved, and screen grabbed. Why do you think some celebrities get canceled for saying the N-word or some other bullshit that happened 10 years ago when they were teenagers on Twitter, when they're working adults now? Because somebody from that long ago went and saved that screenshot, or they used a website tool where you can actually look up someone's tweets and look for problematic content, and then they just make a post after they found it. And that's just people finding words that they don't think you should have said like 10 years ago. I don't think anything that's happened 10 years ago should really be brought up today, because you're definitely a different person, you know? Now, I wanted to do a brief overview on the pros and cons of posting political opinions on social media, because that's where the most problems come from when you decide that you're going to post your politics on social media. Even if they are the right politics, okay? They're still politics. So, some of the pros for posting on social media with your true opinions. You get to share your values and stand up for whatever you believe in, which is important for artists who are often using their platforms. Well, and writers. So, the freedom of expression. And then there's, building your community. You've connected with people who are like you and followers who appreciate your honesty and your views. You'd still like to, see how many of them are like you. There's also raising awareness. A lot of artists and writers and creatives love to raise awareness for important causes and justice that need attention. Like, what was it? When Iron Mouse, when she was found out to be missing $150K for her charity, she just put out a link, and then in not even 24 hours, it was already paid for. Now, what are the cons of posting your politics on social media? Well, it can affect you professionally. Losing your job, killing your opportunities. They could be seen as insensitive. This can also alienate your audience who might not know about your videos, which can kind of impact your following career. You can be misinterpreted online. Online tone is very, very, very tricky sometimes, and your words might be taken out of context or misunderstood, leading to an unintended fallout. So, as an example, I did this on my own social media, on my Facebook. I was reading Prince of Thorns, and the Night Angel trilogy, and there's this part that was like where Durzo Blint said something like, "I used to love you, but you're just a whore now," or some shit. And I was just like, I just took the excerpt of that tiny conversation and I posted it without any context because I thought it was funny. Lo and behold, I get a call from my mom, and she's like yelling at me for the things I say online, and I was like, what? There's also misinterpretation. Online tone can be tricky, and your words might be taken out of context, misunderstood, leading to unintended fallout, because the people who are seeing your post for the first time do not know you, do not know how you talk, know nothing about you, and they will take your words as they see them and run with them. Now, I wanted to offer also, my husband was talking to me about this. Also, okay, I also have a little part where I was talking to my husband about this, And once he heard I was making this video, he had something interesting to say about why some people think that it's all right to say this stuff without thinking. Now, this is like across the spectrum. You know, you guys know that my husband's autistic, but when I mean spectrum, I'm talking about the political spectrum. So this is what he said. Some of these people are used to having their opinion never be offensive. So they are allowed to say anything and don't understand the concept of their opinion having been offensive. Everything they think has been wildly accepted, that they don't understand that publicly you can get in trouble, and that they don't understand that you can publicly get in trouble, and you just haven't this time. So in closing, do I believe that anyone should have been fired? Absolutely not. Charlie Kirk is not a great person in my eyes. No one should ever be fired for expressing their personal beliefs, even strongly, but in the real world, you have to think about that stuff, unfortunately. I also wanted to give you guys an example of my own post and read Southern's post. So we're going to go to my Twitter machine. So on Twitter, here it is. It says, you want to mourn people who have been killed and shot? Here are the kids who died in the Uvalde shooting in 2022. And I just reposted it. That's all. Which I don't repost pretty often, but that was pretty much all I said, right? Okay. Reed says, within a couple hours of each other, maybe guns are the problem, but what do I know? And he goes, right here, conservative activist Charlie Kirk dies after being shot at Utah college event. Shooting the Evergreen High School in Colorado leaves 3 students hurt, first responders, not certain how many shooters. What? Now we're going to go over to Reed Southern's post. All right, here's Reed Southern's post. Within a couple hours of each other, maybe guns are the problem, but what do I know? And it shows this here. I think this post here is almost the perfect post. He says clearly how he feels, and he leaves it at that. There's nobody here in the comments really being shitty. So now that you've seen basically what I do and what Reed Southern does, I'm just going to do one more rundown with you. If it's hot, sit on it. Think about it before you post it. 2, all posts are like the newspaper. Everyone will read it. 3, everything is screenshotted. No text is private. Use phone calls if you really, really need to vent. 4, don't celebrate violence. We are better than this. And 5, unless you are self-employed, talk to a friend or keep it in your brain. Now, if you want to see an example of a company that actually shot themselves in the foot, I did a video on Sticker Mule, who decided to expose their politics so blatantly, especially when most of the people that paid for their service was artists. It was a bad move because if your customers don't share the same politics as you, that means that you just cut off a revenue. And besides that, I hope this video helped. Because if you choose to keep your politics in your search for clients, that is okay, because there's often issues that are going to be a boundary. Besides that, I hope this video helped. I wanted to use it to give instruction for people struggling to talk about their feelings online. And I hope that I've earned the right to ask for you to subscribe. I'm trying to get to 15K before the end of the year. I also have a Patreon. I love to put my full res art and my writings, my blog, and videos that just have no place here on this channel. It also helps support the channel, so maybe one day I can actually get an editor and make it cool. I'm sorry, I will see you tomorrow, okay?